So, I'm going to start just a little bit about my background. I was born in Bolivia, in La Paz, Bolivia. And my family moved to the United States when I was 15 years old. So I've been here for a while. And my mother was a teacher. That's always important to know. My mother was a teacher, so she was always trying to put me in private schools, wanted me to learn other languages. So I started learning German, and then we went to a English school in Bolivia. And I just started liking learning. So I've learned 5 languages altogether. I've learned Spanish, Portuguese, French, Japanese, and English, of course, right? So it's been a journey since I was 15 years old. So people ask me, how do you know 5 languages? Well, you have to start when you're 15. That's really the best way. I think it would be hard as an adult to learn 5 languages. I just know it would be. Maybe you can pick up 2, 3, but 5, 6 languages, you have to start when you're in elementary school, definitely, okay? So, what else about me? I have 1 daughter, 2 sons, and I live here in Frisco. I went to Thunderbird Graduate School, which is now a part of Arizona State University. So I was in international business. And when I was working in corporate America, my boss would say, hey, we need somebody to go to Brazil. We have one of our consultants that can speak Portuguese. And I said, well, the only one is Carlos. So Carlos, you go to Brazil. So I go to Brazil for 4 months, stay with the executives, first class everything, more pay, of course, and lots of work, of course. But Brazil is beautiful. So I was there twice. And the same with Mexico, Canada, a lot of places. So what I'm trying to say is one of the best advantages for me and for young people, young professionals, I know for sure is if you learn 1, 2 languages, your project, your work will be more meaningful. You will make more money. You will probably get to travel the world, right? You will get to travel the world. You will get to see new places. And even if you go work outside of the United States, when you come back, you are sought after. You are a professional with very unique experience of having worked in Spain and wherever else in the world. When you come back, employers want to hire you. Employers want you because they know you're bilingual, which is a high skill. To me, being bilingual is a soft skill and a hard skill, right? Soft skill and a hard skill. So that's why you will be sought after, because you will have 2 languages, okay? Just one example, for example, I had a gentleman that worked for the CPS, Child Protective Services of Texas, and he was making so much money, right? And so he came to us, and we taught him Spanish, and he learned Spanish, could speak Spanish. So the CPS gave him a $10,000 raise because he now can communicate in Spanish. Why? Because in his work, he had to have an interpreter go with him to all the houses to meet, families, and he couldn't communicate, so he had to bring somebody else. It was costing the state of Texas a lot of money to have him go. Now he could go by himself, and he didn't need an interpreter. So that's one example. Another small example, I had a bank branch manager, and she came to me, she says, Carlos, I need to open a bank account in Spanish because when my administrative assistant or my employee is not here at the bank branch, I cannot open a bank account for clients because I don't speak Spanish. So I need to speak Spanish. So we taught her Spanish. She went back. Now, when customers come into the bank, clients, she can open a bank account in Spanish, right? Maybe she can't be doing all kinds of other things, communicating in Spanish, but we were able to get her objective done, right? Which is to communicate with clients at the bank. So that's another example. Okay, so the subject, the topic of the day is how can you learn Spanish in 6 months? Okay, and I know it's totally possible. I have younger kids in middle school, high school. They can learn and speak Spanish, basic Spanish, in 3 months. So there's no reason to do it in 6 months, okay? And so that is my presentation today, all right? Why? How can you learn Spanish in 6 months? Okay, learn a language in 6 months. Okay, so we're going to do a little play here. So please repeat with me. Chocolate, doctor, dentista, fantástico, automóvil. Do I need to translate for any of you? You understand all of it, right? Okay. So, chocolate, doctor, dentista, fantástico, automóvil. Okay, and I'm going to have a few more here. Medicina. Can you repeat with me? Medicina, alérgico, penicilina, totalmente. Okay, so say, yo soy alérgico a penicilina. So I am allergic to penicillin, right? Right? And I'll tell you what's happening here. All right? Comedia, everybody, comedia. Okay, very good. And a couple more. Te gusta? Repeat with me. Te gusta? Sí. No. Me gusta. All right, so just with those few words, maybe, I think there's 15, 20 words that you already. ¿Cómo estás? Okay. So what's happening here? Okay. So I write blogs for your LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn says, I have an article that says Spanish is the easiest language to learn for speakers of the English language. Why? Okay. 3 things. English and Spanish have Latin roots, right? They come from Latin. They are cousin languages. They are syllabic language, which means you have to, we have syllables, right? We have a vowel and a consonant makes a syllable. The same in English, the same in Spanish, right? Syllabic languages. They're cousin. They have Latin roots. So, why? What we just did is we were repeating cognates, okay? So cognates are words that are written the same, they mean the same in English and in Spanish, and they are pronounced just a little bit different. Those are called cognates, okay? So 30% of the English language is cognate to Spanish. What does that mean? That means that you already know 30% of Spanish. 1/3 of Spanish you already know as English speakers. Which ones are they? Well, you don't know. You have to know which cognates. Okay, so I have a whole book on 10,000 cognates. So you can build vocabulary in Spanish very, very quickly. 30% of your vocabulary you already know. Okay, so that's the other why. That's what we were doing at the beginning. I was just teaching you cognates because I know it's easy for you to remember. Okay, so other strategies that I have to learn the language. Okay, listen to the language every day. Especially in Texas, we have the opportunity to learn and to listen to the language, right? Listen to music, news, movies, Netflix. Okay, practice the language every chance you get. And here again in Texas, it's easy, right? Find the best tools, all right? So one thing that I have for myself is, if I'm not doing something, then I can't tell my students to do that, right? So I have to do what I'm asking my students to do. I have to do it. So what do? I listen to French every morning. My wife knows at 7 in the morning, my French station out of Paris comes on, and I'm listening to the news. I'm listening to some arts, but I'm listening. I'm listening to French every single morning from 7 to 7:30. So I practice what I preach. I'm listening to music in Portuguese, in French, and the other languages. Japanese is the latest language that I'm learning. Okay, practice. I got to practice every chance I get. French is the most difficult language to practice here in Texas because there's not a lot of people that speak French. So I always have to be searching for somebody that speaks French. And when I find somebody that speaks French, I'll stop everything. Okay? Find the best tools. What does that mean, find the best tools? Okay, so like we use Duolingo. Duolingo is a tool. You need Duolingo, right? You need Duolingo. You need a good tool. Right? Find the best tools. Rosetta Stone. You know, other students come and say, hey, I have Rosetta Stone. I've been using Rosetta Stone. Use it. It's a good tool. We use it, right? But just a tool is not enough to learn a language, right? Okay, so what else do you need? Find the best language school. Find the best language school. Find the best teacher, the best coach, the best tutor. More learning strategies. Travel to the country that you are, where they speak the language that you are learning. Okay. Have fun with learning your language. That is basically it. Spend time. Okay, so somebody that's autodidactic, that can teach oneself. I have met one person that's autodidactic. That would be the best way, right? But I know most of us are not autodidactic. I'm autodidactic. That means if you can teach yourself, then I met this gentleman and he speaks Spanish very good. He taught himself Spanish, right? But again, you don't have, a lot of us can't do that. So I encourage you to speak the language every day, practice every day, and find the best tools, find the best teachers, the best school. All right? All right. So anyway, I think that's a short, I don't like to do very long presentations, but I like to see if you have any questions. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. One of the things that when I get a new student, I interview the student personally. And I want to know 3-4 things. I say, okay, do you have the time? Do you have the desire to learn? Do you have the time? And do you have some budget, right? Because you need some money. You have some budget, you need the time, you need the desire. If you do have those 3-4 things, then you're ready. If you do not have one of those, then you're not ready, okay? Because it's a commitment, okay? I've had families say, oh, I want my son to learn French and German. And I said, at the same time? And she said, yes, at the same time. I said, no, you can't do that. So I discourage families, people to learn 2 languages at the same time. You first have to master one language. And to me, again, that language as an English speaker has to be Spanish. Once you master the Spanish language, then you can go and learn Italian, you can learn German, French, Portuguese. It becomes much easier because you're comfortable, you're confident that you can learn a language, you can master a language. All right? So that's pretty much my presentation. Again, any questions? Chance?
Yeah, what's the type of time commitment you need to be successful if you're, say, someone in their 50s?
Oh, okay. So Chance says, what's the time commitment you need to learn Spanish? We're not talking about Chinese. Spanish, okay. So he's talking about, what is the time commitment to learn Spanish? Okay. Definitely 6 months for an adult, right? Children, like I said, I have students that are elementary or secondary school. But as an adult, you need minimum 6 months. and that's a commitment of every single day, minimum 1 hour a day, right? In doing all these activities. So that is the time commitment. There's no other way. I mean, we've done it. I've been teaching languages for 25 years or more. So I know that that's what happens. Okay? All right. So I have any other questions, Kathy?
What's the best way to, I guess, seek out mentors or coaches, I guess, to get started?
Okay. What's the best way to get started? Very good question. All right. So we have 2 modalities, right? You can attend a classroom at a school, or you can attend online, right? So if you are one of the students or one of those people that want to come to a location at a school, then try to be in your area, wherever you live, right? So if you live here in Frisco, try to find a school here in Frisco, right? Give them a call, interview with them, and but if you are more open to online schooling, then your search is going to be a little bit wider, right? So, but make the commitment, and it's like anything, like a business, right? Once you start, don't quit. Just keep going. All right, you make your time commitment of 6 months, 1 hour a day, and the results after that are going to be fantasticos. Okay, because you'll be able to do a lot of things. Okay, I have a prospective student here that has a house in Mexico, so she wants to learn Spanish. When she goes to Mexico, she can order at a restaurant, or she can talk to people. We've had those students with those type of objectives, right? But just being in Texas. So make the commitment. I think that's the hardest thing. I mean, make the commitment, time, money, and practice time, and it is, it'll be a wonderful final. Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Do you have any suggestions on how to practice outside of the classroom?
Okay. How to practice out? Do I have any suggestions on how to practice outside of the classroom? Very good question. Okay. So, do you have Netflix?
Besides TV. Like
Besides TV.
Personal interactions.
Okay. Do you go out to eat?
Yes.
In Frisco, everybody goes out to eat, right? Everybody goes out to eat. Make sure you go to a restaurant where they have Spanish speakers for servers, and practice with them. Order. Make it a point to order your whole meal in Spanish, and then whenever you need more napkins, or you need water, or you need anything else that you want to order, make it a point to learn the vocabulary so you can keep ordering and practicing, right? I can go way on the other side. On Sunday, if you go to church, join a Spanish-speaking church. You don't have to go there all the time, but go there at least once a month or something. That's another suggestion. That's way on the other side. Okay? Take a class at a school, take a class with us, find other people. We have Spanish-speaking club on Meetup. Some of you are from my Meetup group. We're going to have more Meetup after work right here in this location, Venture X in Frisco. So Venture X in Frisco is awesome. So, right? Okay. Any other questions? Ms. Gretel, usted es de Peru. So we have somebody here from Peru. So talk to her, have her be one of your, practice mentors, right? Okay, and Zach, can you tell us how much Spanish? So when you speak a language, the way to measure how much you speak is by percentage, right? So Spanish I speak 100%, right? French, Portuguese, English 100%, 97. So you should know you can say, okay, I speak Spanish 50% or 25%. So that's a way to measure. So if I say, how much Spanish do you think you speak? You say, oh, give me a percentage, right? 5%, 0%, whatever the percentage. So then you can measure yourself and see how you're progressing, right? Vocabulary is another indication, right? In the English language, we know about 7,000 words, 10,000 words maybe in English. In Spanish, if you learn 1,500 words that you can have in your vocabulary, you can carry a basic conversation. So that's another way of telling, where you're at. Okay? So we have advanced learners that they want to learn either academic English or academic Spanish, then their vocabulary has to be higher, right? All right, very good questions. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you to Doug for the live video. I hope this is coming out in LinkedIn, it's coming out on YouTube, all my other social media. So we will be doing maybe these at least once a month, right, Chance? And this is the best venue at VentureX. Okay, thank you very much. Hasta luego.